The Olympics, a symbol of global unity, athletes from every corner of the world coming together to compete at the highest level. The 2024 Olympics, held in the heart of Europe, promised to be another shining example of these ideals, but as the curtain fell on the games, a sense of unease lingered. The ceremony unfolded under a darkened sky, the usual vibrant colors replaced with stark grays and ominous shadows. Whispers of satanic and demonic began to circulate online as viewers struggled to make sense of what they were witnessing. The ceremony, far from unifying the world in a shared love of sport, had sown seeds of discord and suspicion. As the lights dimmed in the Olympic Stadium, a hush fell over the crowd. Out of the darkness, a group of figures emerged. Their bodies draped in drab gray, their movements slow and deliberate. They moved towards a massive structure shrouded in mist, a giant golden arch. Its surface gleaming under the spotlights. Was this an archway? A gateway to another realm? The internet was quick to draw comparisons to ancient portals, to otherworldly beings, to the very gates of hell. The golden arch became a symbol of the ceremony itself, unsettling, unexplained, and open to the darkest interpretations. As if the arch wasn't unsettling enough, another figure emerged, captivating the attention of the global audience. Covered head to toe in what appeared to be golden beads, the figure moved with a jerky, almost insect-like precision. The internet, in its infinite wisdom, dubbed him Mosquito Man. Whatever the intention, Mosquito Man became a lightning rod for controversy. As the ceremony progressed, the imagery grew stranger still. A giant statue, its form vaguely angelic, was slowly revealed. The statue was headless, its wings twisted at unnatural angles. Was this a fallen angel, cast down from heaven, a symbol of the triumph of evil over good? The headless angel, like the golden arch in Mosquito Man, became a symbol of the ceremony's unsettling ambiguity. Throughout the ceremony, the figures in gray continued their slow, deliberate movements. They were everywhere, a silent, faceless horde, their presence adding to the unsettling atmosphere. The gray masses, like the other unsettling elements of the ceremony, tapped into a primal fear of the unknown, of forces beyond our control. As the curtain closed on the Olympic closing ceremony, the world watched in a mixture of confusion and concern. The internet, always quick to react, became a battleground of opinions. Hashtags like #OlympicsRitual and #DemonicCeremony quickly gained traction, as viewers took to Twitter and Facebook to express their bewilderment and disgust. Some called for boycotts of future games, accusing the Olympic Committee of promoting satanic worship. The controversy highlighted a growing divide in society, a clash between those who see the world through a spiritual lens and those who dismiss such notions as archaic and irrelevant. Perhaps even more unsettling than the ceremony itself was the mainstream media's muted response. News outlets, typically eager to jump on any controversy, seemed hesitant to engage with the growing public outcry. Some ran brief segments, acknowledging the unusual nature of the ceremony, but quickly moved on to other stories. This lack of scrutiny only fueled the flames of suspicion. The public, left to decipher the truth from a cacophony of online voices, found themselves questioning everything they thought they knew. While some dismissed the accusations of satanic symbolism as the ravings of religious fanatics, others couldn't shake the feeling that something darker was at play. The internet, always a breeding ground for conspiracy theories, became a hotbed of speculation. Occult experts, self-proclaimed demonologists, and amateur sleuths weighed in, dissecting every frame of the ceremony, searching for hidden messages and satanic symbols. The repeated use of certain numbers, the placement of objects, the timing of certain events, it all seemed too deliberate to be mere coincidence. Whether or not the ceremony was intentionally satanic is a matter of debate, but it tapped into a deep-seated fear of the unknown. The closing ceremony's defenders, quick to label any criticism as fear-mongering or religious zealotry, seemed to miss a crucial point. This wasn't about stifling artistic expression, it was about the undeniable unease that permeated every aspect of the performance. The symbols, meticulously crafted and presented on a global stage, were like breadcrumbs leading down a dark and winding path. The question wasn't whether these symbols were intentionally malicious, but rather what message they conveyed, consciously or unconsciously. The Olympic Committee in their silence had created a void, a vacuum quickly filled by speculation and fear. The Golden Arch rising ominously from the stadium floor became a focal point of the controversy. Arches throughout history have represented gateways, transitions between realms, both physical and spiritual. In many ancient cultures, arches were seen as portals to the underworld, places where the veil between the living and the dead was thin. Some argued that the arch represented a more modern concept, a wormhole, a tear in the fabric of space-time connecting our world to another dimension. Regardless of the specific interpretation, the Golden Arch served as a potent symbol of transition, of a movement away from the familiar and into the unknown. If the Golden Arch represented a gateway, then Mosquito Man, with his jerky movements and unsettling appearance, seemed to embody the forces lurking on the other side. Covered in what appeared to be golden beads, he evoked images of decay and pestilence, of something both alluring and repulsive. Insects throughout history have been associated with death and decomposition, but also with transformation and rebirth. Mosquito Man, in this context, could be interpreted as a harbinger of change, a symbol of the inevitable cycles of death and rebirth that govern all life. However, the overwhelming feeling he evoked was one of unease, a sense of something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Perhaps the most unsettling image of the entire ceremony was the headless angel, its wings twisted at unnatural angles, its body frozen in a pose of silent agony. Angels, traditionally symbols of purity, protection, and divine guidance, were here presented as broken, defeated, and disturbingly incomplete. The missing head was particularly significant. A headless figure suggests a loss of identity, a separation from the divine, a descent into chaos and madness. The headless angel served as a potent symbol of our own brokenness, our own inability to achieve lasting peace and harmony. The unsettling imagery of the Olympic closing ceremony, far from being a random assortment of artistic flourishes, seemed to echo one of humanity's oldest and most enduring narratives, the fall of man. Just as Adam and Eve were tempted in the Garden of Eden, the ceremony, with its veiled symbolism and unsettling imagery, felt like a subtle seduction, a lure away from the light and into the shadows. The Garden of Eden, a paradise of innocence and abundance, was where humanity's relationship with God was shattered. The Olympics, once a symbol of unity and human potential, seemed to mirror this fall from grace, a descent into darkness disguised as progress and enlightenment. The ceremony's emphasis on human achievement, on pushing boundaries and challenging traditional norms, echoed the serpent's whisper in the garden, "You will be like God, knowing good and evil." The serpent's temptation in the Garden of Eden was not a brute force attack, but a subtle seduction, a whisper of doubt that poisoned the hearts of mankind. Similarly, the unsettling imagery of the Olympic closing ceremony seemed to reflect a more insidious form of temptation, one tailored to the sensibilities of a secular age. In a world increasingly skeptical of traditional religion, the serpent's whisper takes on new forms: the allure of materialism, the pursuit of power and pleasure, the elevation of human reason above all else. The Olympic ceremony, with its focus on spectacle and sensory overload, seemed to tap into these modern temptations, offering a counterfeit sense of awe and wonder divorced from any higher spiritual purpose. The ceremony's defenders, quick to dismiss any religious interpretation as narrow-minded or outdated, seemed blind to the spiritual vacuum that their secular worldview had created. In their rush to embrace a world without God, they had left themselves vulnerable to a different kind of influence, one that masqueraded as enlightenment, but led ultimately to spiritual emptiness. The unsettling imagery of the closing ceremony, far from being a harmless artistic statement, served as a stark reminder that even in a secular age, spiritual forces are at work, vying for our attention, whispering their seductive lies. The Olympic closing ceremony, with its emphasis on human achievement, seemed to point towards a counterfeit kingdom, built on human ambition and the worship of false gods. Just as the ancient Israelites were tempted by idols, modern society faces distractions that draw us away from the divine. The Golden Arch, a symbol of transition, could be seen as a gateway to this counterfeit kingdom where human desire reigns supreme. Mosquito Man, with his chaotic movements, embodied decay and the relentless pursuit of pleasure without purpose. The Headless Angel, a symbol of victory corrupted, reminded us that noble aspirations can be twisted when divorced from their spiritual foundation. The Olympic closing ceremony offered a glimpse into a world seduced by false gods and the empty promises of a counterfeit kingdom. As the shadows of the closing ceremony lingered, a different kind of story emerged from the Olympics, a story of faith and courage that stood in stark contrast to the unsettling imagery that had dominated the world stage. Sydney McLaughlin, a young American track and field athlete, had just shattered her own world record, cementing her place as one of the greatest athletes of her generation. But it was her words, not her athletic prowess, that resonated most deeply. "This is all for God's glory," she proclaimed, her voice filled with joy and gratitude. "It's all about giving him the praise. It's a gift that he's given me." In a world obsessed with human achievement, Sydney's humility and unwavering faith were a breath of fresh air. She understood that true victory was not found in medals or accolades, but in using her God-given talents to glorify her Creator. Her testimony, a beacon of light amidst the darkness, served as a powerful reminder that even in a world seemingly consumed by secularism and spiritual confusion, the power of faith still had the ability to inspire, to uplift, and to point the way towards a higher purpose. The 2024 Olympics, a spectacle of athletic achievement and global unity, will also be remembered for the unsettling imagery of its closing ceremony. The images, meticulously crafted, sparked outrage, confusion, and a profound sense of unease. Some dismissed the concerns as overblown, but others felt something darker was at play. The ceremony reminded us that we live in a world of shadows, where spiritual forces vie for our attention. The serpent, who once tempted humanity in Eden, has not gone away. He disguises himself as an angel of light, offering knowledge without wisdom, progress without purpose. Now more than ever, it is essential to cultivate discernment, to guard our hearts and minds. We must recognize the serpent's whispers and the allure of false gods. This is a call to engage with the world from a place of spiritual strength and clarity. The Olympic flame has been extinguished, the athletes have returned home, and the world moves on. But the questions raised by the closing ceremony linger. They challenge us to confront the spiritual dimension of our lives, to examine the idols we worship, and to choose the path of light in a world shrouded in darkness. The story of humanity is not a linear progression towards enlightenment, but a constant struggle between good and evil, light and darkness, truth and deception. The Olympics, for all its flaws, offered a microcosm of this struggle, a reminder that we are all engaged in a spiritual battle, whether we realize it or not. The closing ceremony, with its unsettling imagery, served as a wake-up call, a reminder that we cannot afford to be complacent. We must be vigilant in guarding our hearts, discerning the spirits and clinging to the truth that sets us free. The games may be over, but the story continues. The choice is ours. Will we succumb to the darkness, or will we rise to meet the light?
If you enjoyed this video, please like it, leave a comment, and if you are not subscribed, subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to not miss any videos like this one.